And we're live. It's time for another huge debate, another preview on Full Time Devils, and it is the last home game of the season. We are hosting Watford, and second place is secured now. Not really an awful lot for us to play for, but let's preview it anyway, because this is Full Time Devils, and this is what we do. I'm joined today by Scott and Stephen Howson. How's it going, boys?
All right,
superb.
I have a feeling you're going to like the first section, Howson, because now second place is secured. Obviously, the big question is, what team are we actually going to play for Watford? And, you know, anyone's guess is good, to be honest. But are we going to see quite a few youth players potentially get in this side? What do you reckon?
Nope.
No? Why not?
As much as I would love to sit here and say, yeah, we are, and we should be, we absolutely should be, Jose in his press conference basically named 8 of the team that he's going to be playing. So, no, we're not going to see any youngsters because he's pretty much named the forward 3. He said Rashford, Marshall and Mata will play. So that really rules out the likes of Chong getting a debut. There was 3 players that I thought might get a game. Obviously, Angel Gomez has already had his debut. He's also cameoed a little bit in the Cup this year. I don't know if this is going to be accurate or not, but I wonder if Angel Gomez is going to get a medal if we win next weekend. I was that for a bit of an interesting one because obviously he's featured in the Cup. I think Ethan Hamilton probably deserves an opportunity from his performances in the 23s, and Tahith Chong is the one everyone wants to see. I'd be shocked if it was anyone outside of those. I think Roshan Williams might be with an outside shout, but I don't think any of them. They might be on the bench, but I don't think we're going to start.
Scott, Man United, let's face it, a club known for playing youngsters and playing players from their own academy, even in games where maybe people were thinking they aren't quite ready. Now we've got a game where the league's wrapped up. We're in second place. That's it. It's finished. That's all that's going to happen now. Surely, throw the youth in. Surely that must be massively frustrating for you as a United fan if Jose wasn't to do that.
Yeah. I mean, I'm hoping that he does play Chong. I'm hoping that he was lying in his press conference. I mean, yeah. Chong is the one I want to see, but the best players that we've got that should have featured are all out on loan. I want to see Fosu Mensah, Tuan Zerbi, all these players, and the rest of them. But just from the current group that we have now, it's just really Gomez and Chong. I'd like to see at least play some part, and then McTominay as well. Maybe should play centre back, but yeah.
There's been some comments, aren't there, about McTominay that I know you wanted to mention, Scott, that Gary Neville made. I think didn't he say something about him not making it, or?
He doesn't think he can make it, but like I say, from the comments that he played, but he thinks that he could become a centre back. It's something to do with his ball playing skills, and I just thought, well, what would he have said about Darren Fletcher when he was 20? Players like this, they need time to develop. I mean, this is a big lad, and there's a lot of opportunity for him. And I just thought it was a bit early for Gary Neville, but I mean, he's a legend. He's been there, done it. He knows what he's saying, so you've got to listen to him. And maybe he's right, but I just like to think what he would have said about, say, like I said, Darren Fletcher or John O'Shea or something like that.
Howson, what have you made of those comments about our manager's player of the year?
I thought the circumstances in which Jose decided he was giving a little award out were a bit mad. And when you actually find out where the trophy that he awarded him came from as well. But I think Gary Neville's sniping at United a lot at the moment. He seems to have gone too far in trying to be neutral, and he almost sounds quite bitter at the moment at United.
Yeah.
And I can't work out why. Loved by the club, adored by the fans, speaks very well usually about the club, but of late some of his comments are very questionable. I don't know why. It is the top and bottom of that, and I thought his comments about McTominay there was comments he was making last night about Marcus Rashford, talking about how he needs to play more and this, that and the other, and I think he even mentioned, I don't know if it was him or somebody else that mentioned about Rashford possibly going out on loan, and you're like, Rashford's played 50 times for United this season. Yes, it's been less since Sanchez has come in, but that was a player that Jose's wanted to bed into the team quickly. Yeah. He knows what he's getting with Rashford. If that continues into next season, I could see Marcus potentially having a problem, maybe needing to find another route into the first team. But when you sign someone in January and they've not had a pre-season with you, you've got to give them maximum amount of game time so they can get used to their teammates. Rashford played a hell of a lot. He's 20 years of age. When you look around at what Paul Scholes was even doing at 20, what David Beckham was doing at 20, it took them a long time to properly break into that team. and really start to own those first team places week in, week out. And to ask us to do that with the likes of Rashford at the moment, I think it's been a little bit unfair, because there's players like Marcus Rashford are playing a lot more than players of his age around the league.
Yeah, I mean, even the fledglings were older in comparison to these lads. You know, when they came through, they were a lot older than, like I said. But there was only Giggs really at 17. Well, different grades.
Gary made his debut at 17, but he didn't become a first team regular. I think he got his debut on the back of the foreigner rule. I think in the UEFA Cup, I think it might have been against Torpedo Moscow. But he only got that debut because of the foreigner rule, and then it took him a long time to break in before he established himself. And I think Rashford's played over 100 games for United now. I'm sure he has.
Yeah, exactly.
So, if you look how long it takes players to reach 100 games, Marcus is way up there. He's got a lot of games under his belt so far.
I'm not saying that this is why Gary Neville says some of the things that he says. However, do you think it could have something to do with his mate Ryan Giggs not getting the Man United job? And same goes for Scholes as well. No?
No.
I'm not saying I believe it. I'm just throwing it out there.
I don't think they had that agenda. I mean, there was a lot made of it, but Giggs was never getting the job. I don't think they had that agenda. I just think they come from a generation where they were so dominant. So they don't understand why we're not dominant. And I think they never played in a struggling side. They came to United and, just look at the 94 team. I mean, they had them players around them. So they've never played in a struggling team, really. So I think that's what it is. They just come from the top of Everest, as they say, looking down on everybody, and that's just how it is.
Just going to get some comments in and see what people are saying below. Isaac a Hero says, where did the trophy come from? I think he's referring to what you said then, Howson, about the Manager's Player of the Year award that Scott McTominay got. What did you mean by that?
No comment.
No comment. Okay, moving on. Sam Dicinero says, Jose has no excuse not to play youth. To be honest, mate, I would completely agree with you in a game like this.
There's absolutely no reason not to play anyone. But he's basically, I mean, I'd love to see, I would genuinely, I love nothing more than watching academy players grow into first team players before our eyes. And what we saw at Crystal Palace and the final game of last season was brilliant, because this is a nothing game with nothing to play for. For the players, there's cup final places at stake, and I absolutely get that. But for the fans, we're turning up there just to say thanks to the lads for the season. Now, this time last season, when he puts out Josh Harrop in the starting 11 and Demi Mitchell and stuff like that, a lot of the fans there haven't seen them live, and those who have are excited. And when them lads start playing, the whole team is just supported by everybody in that stadium. Everyone's just willing those young lads to go and make a mark and start their Manchester United careers. And that's what we want for these lads. We want to just be able to get in there and just, with no agendas whatsoever, just support the lads that are wearing the shirt. Not thinking, is it going to mean a place next week for them or anything like that? Let's just continue the tradition that we've had unbroken for 80 years of bringing through young players. That's what makes Manchester United for me. And that's what we all wanted to see. And I'm a bit gutted that I can't even sit here raving about it, because Jose's almost played his hand, hasn't he, and told us none of them are getting it.
Couple of fabulously mental comments here, by the way. If you like this one, you're going to love the next one. Eamon Mack says, Jose is good to steady the ship, but not take the club forward.
What a dick.
Oh! Right, Scott, wait for this next one then. You're going to love this. John Sinha has commented saying, proper fans, I don't even know what that is. What's a proper fan? Proper fans know Mourinho is finished.
Oh, shut up.
So everyone, all them people in Old Trafford, the 75,000 people singing Jose Mourinho's name, they're not proper fans then. Yeah. They don't know what they're on about. Shaz has commented saying, I can see how they are reading our comments and thinking, what the hell are these guys chatting on the live stream? There we go. There, you've put it nail on the head there, mate. Right, moving on. There's a couple of players in particular that I want to talk about ahead of this game. One player who I thought was quite impressive against West Ham, but according to some reports, the manager didn't necessarily agree. Luke Shaw, I'm talking about. What did you guys think of his performance? I mean, we saw him, I think he hit the bar.
Guys, what did you think was impressive?
I loved his driving runs. It was just great to see a left back do something as simple as an overlapping run.
Yeah, I can give you that.
Go on. What do you make? Were you not impressed by him? Tell me why he was crap then.
I didn't say he was crap, but you said you was impressed. For someone to be impressed, you have to do something impressive.
It was better than Ashley Young, was it not?
Always better than Ashley Young.
Exactly. Go on then, what did you make of him last night? Do you reckon he'll start in the final?
Gaz, Guys, I think me, you, and Luke Shaw have got an equal opportunity of starting in the FA Cup final next weekend. Come on, play the game, son.
Scott, what do you think, mate? What do you think?
I think he's gone, but I don't think we're going to get... And I know I'm going to get criticism, but I'm tired of Marshall too. I'm just waiting for them to do something, and I'm just, yeah. I mean, cut our losses on Luke Shaw. Just cut our losses. He's like Anderson. I mean, he clearly, when you see him, he's just such a bulky lad, and you go, all you have to do on, how much is he earn? 150 grand a week. Hire, someone who can do physio with him. Get a dietitian. Do all this. Just stay fit. That is your job.
Eating the pies, Luke.
That's it. Just stay out of, like I said, when you ask for a doner kebab, just, take the kebab meat away and eat the salad. Just something. But he just can't. To not have the motivation just to stay thin is ridiculous. It really is. And for me, no. He is a talented guy. I think before the injury, everyone was super excited about him. He was going to be the next Evra, the next, blah blah blah. But he just can't stay out on Nando's. And no, he can go for me. I'm done on him. I prefer to see Demi Mitchell when he comes back in pre-season, just to see how he has to go, because he's playing awesome up in Scotland. So, or like I said, just bring someone in. We've got the money. Bring someone in. But no, it's just...
You're both saying that he's played his last game for United then?
Again, I wouldn't be bothered. I really wouldn't be bothered if I didn't see him playing a United shirt again. And like I said, I had a lot of high hopes for the boy. I think everybody did.
Everyone did.
Just tired of waiting.
Right, another player that I want to talk about, who Jose Mourinho has pretty much confirmed will be starting the game and finishing it, and definitely playing his last game for Manchester United. Michael Carrick. He's a player who had an unbelievable amount of question marks around him when we actually signed him. Everyone thought Fergie had gone absolutely mental, and a lot of the fans thought it as well, not just at first, but for years on end as well. I think it took him a few years to really cement himself with the Man United fans. Looking back on his time with United now, Scott, he's obviously the only player currently in the team who was in that 2008 Champions League winning team. Where does he rank amongst Manchester United greats and legends?
He has to be up there. He's not Roy Keane. I know I had this debate about with the argument with him and Steven Gerrard. The different type of players, but you just look at what he's won. You just look at how crucial he's been. And he's probably the most underrated player I've ever seen. I've never seen a player with, like you said, just look at his trophy cabinet, look at what he's won. England didn't appreciate him, the same with Scholes. Yeah. And I think there'll be a lot of regret from the England side that they didn't give him an opportunity. They played Gareth Barry, of all people. It's just but what a legend, a United legend. He should be seen as such. Gareth Barry. Yeah. No, I'll always, my vision of Gareth Barry is when he was running back after Ozil, and it was just hilarious just watching this pathetic player. Yeah. Anyway, but no, for me, he's a legend, and the crowd will give him the send off that he thoroughly deserves, and he's also, because of his intelligence, he's going to turn into a great coach. He's got probably more of a chance of becoming our next manager than Giggs.
I'd agree with that. And you know what? Listening to some player interviews as well, whenever they're asked, who is the man to be a manager in the future, they all straight away say Michael Carrick. Not just because of what he's doing at the minute with coaching, but he's just always been that type of guy. Howson, what do you think the future holds, and what do you make of Michael Carrick's Manchester United career looking back on it? What's it been, 12 years?
Yeah. Michael Carrick is a hell of a footballer. I did a bit of a video series on him last year, I think it might have been, and just watching individual clips of Michael Carrick and watching how he used to shut off passing lanes, didn't make a tackle, didn't need to make a tackle. He just blocked off your options. So now you're running around and then someone else is going to come and tackle you with the ball, but Michael Carrick snuffed out 2-3 passes that you was thinking about making. And all he's done is shuffle to the side a little bit. He could see what was coming, which was his greatest asset. And I think that was why he was underrated, because he doesn't make these match of the day sliding tackles like Steven Gerrard makes. And he wasn't scoring 30-yarders like Frank Lampard that bounced off 17 different people before he went in. He was just playing good football. He was always in the right position, so he never needed to sprint.
Yeah.
And the balls that he played through were so good, you didn't even see them. They just happened, and then someone else crosses it in, and then there's a goal. That's just happened. But because Michael Carrick's setting up all of those plays, people underestimated what he did. He controlled the tempo of a phenomenal Manchester United era side. That Owen Hargreaves, Carrick, and Paul Scholes midfield three was incredible. It was the sort of thing that English teams just needed in Europe, was an English core like that could dominate football matches, that could dominate opposition teams in Europe, and it had an English core. And I think a lot of the Spanish players have said if Michael Carrick was Spanish, people would have said a lot more about him. But because he was English, because he's got a Geordie accent, because he's come through at West Ham, he's just mega underrated. And at the top and bottom of it was Michael Carrick, hell of a footballer. His honours list when he retires is embarrassing for other people to look at, and the fact that people there's arguments about who's better between Scholes and Gerrard, which is mental enough. There should be arguments about who was better in terms of Carrick and Gerrard, and people will laugh at you if you even bring Carrick into that conversation. But for me, I'll tell you what, I'd rather have a player that can slot in and play a part rather than someone that makes it all about themselves, and rather play a 60-yard Hollywood ball into nobody out for a throw-in than someone who could actually play a pass like Michael Carrick.
It's just an English thing with intelligent players. I just think the England national team and intelligent players. I mean, I remember there was one period where it looked like they were actually starting to appreciate a player like Owen Hargreaves. I think it was like the 2006 World Cup or something like that, and he got injured. And then after that, they still didn't put anyone else in there. It was unbelievable. Right, moving on anyway. I'm not talking about England in this preview. Let's talk about the starting 11 for this game. Honestly, this is pretty much just guesswork, because we don't know. Well, I say it's just guesswork. Howson says that Jose's already revealed his team. But you never know with what he says in conferences. Looking at the starting 11 points league at the minute, it does look like McCall, well, he is going to finish as the winner, 224 points. But what's interesting is of the opposition fans that we've got on this season, the two West Ham fans from West Ham Fan TV, Nick and Dan, both got 11 out of 11. So if you want football knowledge, apparently West Ham fans are the place to go. Maybe not Danny Dyer. Right, boys, let's get you starting 11. Shall we start with Scott? Yeah, let's get it from you, mate. Who are you playing to play Watford?
Well, this is my team, but clearly it's going to be wrong. I've gone Romero, Super Darmian.
Oh, God.
Luke Shaw, Jones, and Blind, who I still love Blind. I'm just gutted that he's going to be going, but there you go.
He's defo going, isn't he?
Yeah, Carrick and McTominay. I hope he plays Gomez and Chong, and I think Lingard and Martial up front.
Gomez and Chong would be absolutely lovely if we saw both of them start. It's not going to happen, is it? But it would be great. Howson, what are you reckoning, mate?
So going off what he said in the press conference, I actually forgot Damian was a person, so I've not included Damian in here. But it's going to say Ashley Young on my graphic, but I'll say Damian for that one. So I think it's Romero in net, as he's already alluded to, and a back four of what's going to say Young, Jones, Bay, and Blind will be Damian, Jones, Bay, and Blind. Bay needs match fitness desperately. I think it's probably Daley Blind's last game in a United shirt as well. Midfield three, he's almost told us it's going to be McTominay and Carrick, and because Matic didn't feature at all on Thursday night, I'm thinking it'd probably be Nemanja Matic as well, just keeping him sharp ahead of the FA Cup final. I haven't heard if he's got a knock or anything like that, so I'm assuming it was just a complete rest for him. Michael Carrick didn't travel either, so I'm thinking it's maybe them two are doing the same thing. And then he's almost told us up front it's going to be Matt, Rashford and Marshall, so I'm assuming it's going to be 4-3-3. I mean, he might try and throw a new formation in the mix just to keep everyone on the toes, but I imagine that's how United are going to line up. And I'm a bit gutted, to be honest, because I think when you do throw a youngster in, if we could throw somebody like a Chong or a Hamilton or Gomez or Roshan Williams or somebody along that, then I think that those players will elevate their game. They realise that they're playing to stake a place to get on the tour, and then once you're on the tour, you can stake a claim to get into the first team squad for the next season, which is exactly what Scott McTominay did. Decent performance at the back end of last season, gets himself on the tour and has put in some good performances, and now Jose Mourinho calls him his son. That's the opportunity, that's the dream of every young boy growing up in this city and many cities around the world wanting to do that, and the opportunity has been taken away because Jose decides that he wants to play 11 30-odd-year-olds who he already knows every single thing about.
Right then, moving on to Watford. What can you boys tell me about them? Recent form, key players?
Oh, Gaz,
anything?
I've not even looked, mate. I've not even looked because they should be taking it as serious as we should be taking it. And we should be like, that's a ball boy. He's on row P. We just invited him down for the game. This lad brought his boots. He's the coach driver. Who gives a shit? It's the last game of the season. We should be just having a kickabout. That's it. End of story. All this bleeding Watford. Are they safe? Yeah, cool. Who gives a shit?
Get the fan channel presenters playing. That's what I say. Scott, what do you reckon? Can you tell me anything about Watford?
Well, if you read Twitter, I mean, according to Twitter, we should be giving absolutely everything in every game, like the last game.
You nearly said that with a straight face.
No, but we've got the FA Cup on the way, and then we've got the World Cup, and then people like complaining because players don't give 100%. I mean, that's the reason what it is. It'll be a kick around, it'll be a nice day out, it'll be a farewell to Carrick Day. That'll be it. The score will be pointless. We finished second. That was the goal. Done. But I'm excited about the summer. I'm super excited about the summer. I think it's going to be Jose's last real go. He's going to get his last load of money, and he'll be go for it. But there will be no excuses. There'll be no excuses. So let's just see how it goes.
It's a good way to put it, though, the farewell to Carrick Day. I'm sure we'll get a speech at the end of the game, as I'm sure a lot of players will come up and say some stuff. Right, prediction. Let's get the score prediction. Like I say, we have no idea what teams either team are going to play, so just guessing it. What do you reckon, Scott?
5-0, Marshall, all 5.
Marshall FC. Howson, what are you saying?
Fucking 0-0.
No, of course. We know who's going to be right, don't we, as well? You know what? Actually, I'm going to say 1-0. Right, guys. Thank you very much for watching today. Thank you very much for being involved as well, Scott and Howson. Follow them on Twitter. Fan cams from the West Ham game are all on the channel now. If you want to go and check them out, Nat dealing with those. She did a great job as well. And there's loads of stuff as well from Watford that you can check out on Twitter, on Facebook, on Snapchat, on Insta. We're all over the place. Thanks very much for watching today. And yeah, we'll enjoy Farewell Carrick Day. See you there. Laters.
Take care, guys.